Hi, friends. I am here with author Traci Hunter Abramson today. I'm really excited to talk to her. She has a new book coming out. It's called Victim 8, and I'm really excited to read it. I actually have the ARC, but I'm going to give that away because I'm a big audio reader. Um, but I just wanted to have Traci introduce herself, and then we're going to kind of talk about why we're chatting today.
So like you said, I'm Traci Hunter Abramson, and Heather and I have been writing we've had similar careers as far as we write a lot and we've been doing it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But part of my background is I'm actually former CIA. So as I say often in writers' conferences, I kill people for a living and I have a bomb problem. So, and only fictional.
Fictionally, right. Yeah, awesome. Well, because my book that just came out this month on Julia Child, Julia had actually served in the OSS, which is a precursor to the CIA during World War II. And so Traci was kind enough to write the foreword, and that for me would probably sell the book, of course. But you can read kind of her thoughts and her experience in there. And also, this is kind of a bonus for me, is Traci read some of the chapters that included Julia Child's OSS service just to make sure I wasn't kind of going into left field too much. And even though this was the historical part of leading up to the CIA, I thought Traci would be a good one to kind of point out any red flags. So thank you for that, Traci.
Well, and honestly, I will tell you, this just proves to me what I already knew, and that Heather, you are amazing on your research. I mean, really, I think we had like one or two words. I was like, well, you might want to change this. And that, I think that was about it. Like you were really on.
But
So,
I think even and you probably know this when you're writing in different, your characters are going into different countries or different situations, is that no matter what research you do, there's always going to be someone that will find the flaw in there and say, well, they actually didn't have tomatoes in, 2000
right.
BC. Oh, okay.
Who
But
knew? I
there's
want to
always
know
going to
who
be
knows
someone.
this though.
And it's never, and that's a nice thing about writing a novel or historical fiction, is that you can kind of have a little more grace and you can say, well,
Yeah.
I'm not the historian, I'm not writing a textbook, I'm just writing a story, and any errors are definitely going to be my own. But yeah, I just want to hear a little bit about maybe your experience between your previous career and also kind of how that has influenced your current career as a novelist.
I mean, my previous career, it doesn't sound very exciting, quite honestly. I mean, intelligence work in general is a lot of paperwork and a lot
Yeah.
of research and a lot of things that are not so fun, and that to get to the 20% of that is fun.
Yeah.
Um, but what what I've loved is that everything I did was at a top agency level. So I was always looking from top down as far as how finances were spent. So if you know where the money is spent, you kind of have a clue of what other people are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so it gave me a lot of exposure, especially during the first Gulf War. I was a liaison officer, and so basically I was helping other government agencies work together so we could work as a unified intelligence service, which obviously became much more effective after 9/11. When we realized that there were still a lot of breakdowns going on there. So,
Mm-hmm.
but it really has given me the ability to write what I know. I don't have to work too hard on my research because I can just listen to my friends talking
Mm-hmm.
that are still in that space or have been there more recently, and they never would give me information that's not, that's classified, but they just hearing little terminology changes, language changes as time
Yeah.
goes on. So that's been really helpful for everything I do.
I think that's amazing because you just have that vernacular and like you said, the world, you worked in it, you understand the ins and outs. When I was writing the Julia Child book, I don't know a lot about the culinary world. I mean, I've seen some
Uh-huh.
baking shows on TV, and my grandmother always put out beautiful multi-course meals, and my mother's a huge gardener, so everything was like, I think they call it farm to table now. And I'm
Right.
just more the basic, make tacos or spaghetti. I'm not Sometimes I'll experiment a little bit, but diving into like the culinary world was really new for me. And so that's why when I dove into the OSS world, I was like, okay, this is also very new to me. I've read books on like Bletchley Park, and that was something that the United States wanted to be able to do themselves and not just rely on like British intelligence or any foreign
Right.
intelligence, and have their own intelligence going on. So I find it fascinating, and maybe if I could like start my life over, I could, maybe that would be something I'd be interested in, but
Yeah,
that's not
I
what I
think
did.
well, the interesting thing that was fun to see is that, um, one thing that I had very much in common with your portrayal of Julia Child in her OSS days is women in general in the intelligence community, both when she was in and, even when I was in, women were not always seen as equals.
Yeah.
And she just went and did the work and made herself valuable, and then she was respected for it. And in my career, I know a lot of people who even who have served significantly after me who had some issues because of some gender bias and things like that.
Mhm.
And I didn't really experience it. I mean, I can remember one time that somebody basically was ignoring me because I was the only woman in the room and I had the most information besides my boss. And my boss basically stood up when the guy ignored me for a second time and said, "Hey, everyone at this table earned their spot except you." And the guy was there representing his boss.
Yeah.
He's like, "You can either leave or you can listen to her." And I was the lowest person in the room, but because he knew that the knowledge that I had was
Mhm.
needed, he was nobody everyone else in the room was like high level and they're like, "Yeah, what are you messing with Tracy for?" Like,
Yeah.
so there were I had some really good portrayals of good people, and your portrayal again showed her that she does what needs to be done and you make
Mhm.
yourself valuable. And luckily was not with people that she
Yeah.
couldn't function in that way. Sometimes it wouldn't have worked, but it seems like
Yeah,
her.
she really was surrounded by great men and great leaders that
Yeah.
that definitely valued her, but she made herself kind of invaluable too. Like you're saying,
Right.
she was the hard worker, and she actually she worked 6.5 days a week while she was in Ceylon, which is now Sri Lanka, and
Yeah.
she just felt that obligation to her country. She really wanted to make a difference,
Yeah.
and so she just dug in her heels and worked as hard as she could.
And that I think that really comes through on the pages, that
Mhm.
that and that's consistently what you find in intelligence service, that people it's like the military, only we're not
Yeah,
necessarily gonna be able to tell you what we did. At
right.
least, like we can't tell you where we are necessarily. Well, the
Yeah.
military has a lot of that too. So,
Yeah, it has some of the
they just have different
covert
toys than we
things
do.
going on. Yeah. Yeah, well, awesome. Well, tell us about your upcoming book that's out in October.
So one of the cool things is that cover shot is actually a photo I took when I
Oh,
was in Istanbul.
that
But
is so neat.
the this is the second in my Luke Steele series, and just like all my books, usually you can pick one up without
Mhm.
having read the previous ones. Um, but yeah, the main male character is a military aide for the president, which one of my buddies did that, so I was able to learn a lot through him. And the main female lead is a FBI behavioral analysis or analyst, and so just them coming together. And this one is it's it's interesting in that they kind of stumble onto, like, he's at the White House, she's at the FBI, and they both are seeing the same case from different angles. And because of their friendship, they learn more than what they could have learned by themselves. And that's kind of what really is the impetus of, oh, they need to work together again. Because it's suspending reality a little bit. Normally you wouldn't have people in those spaces working together, um, but it's just a lot of fun. It does have some overseas
Mhm.
travel. It takes it to Turkey and touched on a little bit of, like, some of the Russia, Azerbaijan, Armenia,
Mhm.
Georgia, some of that region of the world. So people
Yeah.
who don't know a lot about it, you learn a little bit more about some of the politics. And I've been just kind of hoping that nothing would change too much in the world stage while I was waiting for the book to come out because,
That is so hard, right?
yeah,
Or if something does change and it's kind of in your book, it feels a little eerie that you wrote something that happens in the future.
yeah. It is. I mean, I've had a few friends that's happened to, but, like, somebody asked me the other several years ago, they said, "Why do you always make Russia the bad guys?" I'm like, "Because they are, right?" And it's not
Keep it going and
Russians, it's like but Russia politically, I saw the writing on the wall that something was heading this way.
yeah.
So, it's just, you read the cues, and if you've been doing it long enough, you are gonna guess right more often than not, so.
I think that's awesome. I guess I hadn't read it closely to know that they go to Turkey. I've been to Turkey. My parents lived there for a couple of years. So that'll give me even
Yeah.
extra not motive. I don't need to be motivated to read your book, but
You
it'll
need
go
you need
higher on
moments.
the to be read list.
It's so hard because when you're writing, you have to stay in your story, and so
Yeah,
trying to stay in your story and then come out to read somebody else's
yeah,
dive into somebody else's world, you kinda have to be in a break, between
yeah.
your 2 books or whatever, so
And
I
I
don't
do
know
that
about
too.
you, I
Like
normally
sometimes
read between them.
I'll have like reward books. Okay, as soon as I finish this manuscript, I'm gonna watch these movies and read these books and
Yep,
just take that break and enjoy everyone else's creativity and hard work.
exactly.
Well, thank you so much, Tracy. It's been fun talking to you, and it's been fun hearing more about kind of your experiences. And I hope everybody, if you're not already a Tracy fan, then you need to be. You will not regret it. So thank you for joining
Well,
me
thank
today.
you.
We will help. Everyone has a great day. We'll see you later.